Hello and welcome to another episode of the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast. This is episode 106. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Ryan Cross from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for broadcasts for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. Thanks for joining me. This week we got Alex, we got TJ, and we got Tony, and Chad might pop in. He tends to do that. But yeah, how's everyone's week going?
I'm doing pretty good. Chad's got all those family duties. He's got to take care of kids and all that.
Yeah.
I'm recovering from another weekend worth of shooting matches here, so.
Yeah, you had a good excuse last week for missing the show. How'd you do?
I took second place last week. Last week was USPSA match at the NRA headquarters range, which is always a fun time. I took second place in production division, and actually shot two more matches over this past weekend. We shot Eastern Shore of Maryland on Saturday, and then drove up to north of Philadelphia and shot the Mid-Atlantic Section Championship on Sunday. So a full week of shooting for me.
Nice.
Nice.
Did you clean out?
So you missed the show and you still didn't win.
Oh, come on, man. I took second place on Tuesday at NRA. Saturday, I won my division in production. And then Sunday, out of 70 people in production, I was 12th place. Second in my class. I'm considered classified as B, and I was a second B overall. So it was a good week for me.
Cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I took my rifle out to the range Wednesday. I was going to run some drills with the hex mags, and I didn't have the drills down I was going to do. So instead of waste my time, you know what I mean, not doing specific things, I just decided to shoot small groups at 100, and I got actually sub-MOA with my AR using Walmart ammo.
Nice.
So I turned in a three-round group small in the quarter. So I thought that was pretty impressive with iron sights and a 16-inch barrel. Yeah. Oh, and what is it? A GI trigger group. I still haven't swapped it out for the enhanced one. So pretty much, yeah, I feel like kicked butt. Pretty much when I did that, I looked through the spotting scope, went, yep, I'm packing my stuff up, and we're done today. Yeah, and I posted it on my Instagram page that nobody goes to. So check out Simon Says Train on Instagram, and you'll see my group and my rifle.
You got to do the multi-share where it automatically sends it to Facebook. Actually, I think you did because I saw it.
I do. Yeah. I get goofed on because I have 25 hashtags after every
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I just finished up building my latest AR, so looking forward to go sighting that in and shooting it.
Nice. All I've been doing is hunting. I've been in the deer stand that I built like 15 years ago when I was a kid. It's still standing, a little rotten, but it still works. It's modern firearm, but because of the area I'm in my backyard, I got neighbors. I like to use my bow, but I've never gotten anything with a bow, so it's kind of like trying to pop my cherry here. And the nicest blacktail I've ever seen. Arrow went right over his back this morning. I'm still heartbroken about it. It'd have been the nicest buck I've gotten, like better than the ones I've gotten with my rifles. But since it is modern firearms still till the end of the week, I think I might go back out there with my 308 and just like wax it, because I don't want him. My neighbors, I don't trust him, man. If I don't get him, somebody else will. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. Bow hunting is the hardest thing I've ever done because you can't make mistakes. Like, if you draw your bow when he's looking at you, or your feet squeak, or something hits the tree, if you like breathe into the cold air and a fog of breath comes up and he sees that white and he looks up at you, you're done. Because you can't like, oh, well, screw it, pull up my rifle and just lay him out. Like, you need him to you need to be a ghost. and right now they've been the ghosts, and I've had a hard time finding them, seeing them, and getting a good opportunity. The stars have to line up for you to get one with an arrow, so I'll keep trying. I got like, between the seasons, man, I got till like December 31st, so I got all year to do it.
Sweet.
Yep, so that's what I've been doing. Just to get through the announcements, bandwidth for this podcast is brought to you by Patriot Patch Co. We've added a bunch of shirts to the website over the last month. We got some really awesome ones. We got an AK one. We got a nice Celebrate Diversity one that's got a bunch of different bullets on it. Lots of great custom artwork that's coming from yours truly. So go on, check out www.patriotpatch.co, and you can check out the patches that we're doing as well as the shirts. I just got in, as you can see, I'm wearing the Huckleberry patch. This was our first one. I finally got some of those in myself, and then all of a sudden Jake's sending me every patch that we've done. So now I've got a bunch of samples. So here's the name tag patch. So you can imagine you can get yourself in a bit of trouble with this blank canvas. You can write whatever you want on there. So it says, hello, my name is. You can write Batman, Superman, Cornholio, Antigua Montoya. Yeah. You could literally do anything. So that's kind of cool. I got the bullet bill patches in. Those are looking really nice. We're doing something right now where you can sign up for the newsletter for Patriot Patch Co., and it enters you a chance to win a free patch every month. So that's really cool. If you like my artwork but don't like it enough to want to pay for it, you can sign up for the newsletter, which you should anyway, because it gives you every month we're going to do a email blast so you can see all the new patches and new products that have come out, but that gives you an opportunity to win some every month, so that's all good. Guests are always welcome on the show, so if you want to come on to the show, email cross at firearmsradio.tv. It's a fun time. Just ask our newest member here, Alex. You having a fun time, buddy?
Yeah, it's been pretty fun so far. I'm enjoying myself.
Nice. So, yep. And then if you're shopping for a Kydex holster, for competition, for carry, for anything, check out Bravo Concealment. We got a promo code 10% off your next order using the promo code RTTCombo10. That'll get you 10% off your next order, even if it's just for some mag pouches or anything like that. 10%. That'll definitely help you out with tax and shipping. So check that out. Giveaway. We're giving away a Surefire Pro Comp 5.56 muzzle brake. It's a nice comp. It's got 2 chambers. I'm not sure how great it would be for like 3-gun competition, but I imagine it would do pretty well since it's supposed to reduce your muzzle rise. So I'm giving that away. Deadline is October 31st, which is this Saturday. So on this Saturday, I'll pick somebody, and on the Facebook page, I will announce the winner. So in order to enter, if you're listening to this, or you're on Friday, if you're hearing this or downloading this podcast, this is your last chance to do it before October 31st. So you got to go to iTunes, leave us a review for the Gun and Gear Review podcast, and then you have to copy it or take a screenshot, whichever. Go to the Firearms Insider Facebook page, give us a like, and then you have to paste or embed that photo so I can see who you are and which iTunes user you are, and then you're entered. So better hurry up if you want to win an awesome comp for your AR. That all said, now we can get right into the good parts, the products for this week. So not really doing a Halloween-themed episode because it's kind of difficult to do with guns unless we went with like a zombie episode, and we've got more dignity than that. So I got some pretty cool products we're going to talk about this week. First up is something from Magnum Research that we're all familiar with the Desert Eagle, right?
Yeah.
Desert Eagle, or if you're in the Call of Duty generation, the Eagle. You want to combine those words together.
.50.
Yep, the 50 caliber AE. So they released the gun with a new finish. So technically, it's a new product. So it's got that stainless steel finish, whereas before it was kind of more of a satin matte type of finish.
Yeah, this one's a little more polished, it looks like.
Yeah.
They're calling this the Mark. What is that? Mark 19? Is that the latest.
XIX.
Yeah, that would be 19, right?
Yeah,
I don't
19.
know.
Yes.
If they haven't had a Rocky that comes out to that far, I don't know what that number means. Rocky 4, Rocky 5, Rocky 19.
Yeah, Rocky 19.
So
That's funny because
it's
there'll probably
stainless.
be one.
Yeah, it's stainless steel. It's got Picatinny rails on the bottom, as well as a Weaver style rail on the top. And this one does have an integral muzzle brake on that barrel, and it's got black colored hardware as far as the screws and stuff. Looks like it's got a Hogue grip. Is Hogue making grips for Magnum Research?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I really don't know either. It honestly looks pretty much exactly like the car grips that come on the steel car pistols. So it could be.
That would make sense.
I mean, Hogue does a lot of stuff, and I'm sure they do some, aftermarket for factory guns. Because I think they do some stuff for Ruger, but it's not necessarily branded as Hogue. So it could be.
Right. Yeah. It looks like a rubberized grip with some. It's got to be Hogue because that's their cobblestone texture that's on all their other stocks and grips. And it's got the Magnum Research Eagle in just kind of stamped inside like somewhat of a medallion, but it's just stamped inside the rubber. So it's basically a stainless and black pistol. I shouldn't be calling it a pistol because really this thing's a hand cannon. 50 AE is a sweet caliber. If a store sells it, they're probably not selling out of it, so there's got to be some kind of ammo availability.
Yeah.
No, I'm not sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think new to this one, they're also putting the Picatinny rail on the bottom in addition to that compensator. So I don't think I've ever seen them with the built-in Picatinny at the bottom. So that must be new with this one as well.
Yes, it's a new thing. They started putting the Picatinny on top last generation for the red dots and scopes, of course, optics. But this is the first time they had the Picatinny on the bottom. I guess so you can put your flashlights and coffee mugs and anything else you want to do.
Your angled foregrip.
Yeah, okay, go ahead, buddy. Yeah, actually, you can get away with an angle foregrip on a pistol, right?
Yeah.
You can't get away with a vertical grip on a pistol.
And this is long enough that you could fit one on here.
Now, they even make
truthfully,
the 9 or 10 inch barrels. I don't remember how long they are, but they protrude past.
Yeah.
So this could be you could put a bipod on it and use it handgun hunting, honestly.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about a Desert Eagle is nothing you put on it will be ridiculous because, well, it's a Desert Eagle, so the whole concept's ridiculous.
Get that 6-inch barrel, the overall weight. Let's see, do they 4 pounds and 7 ounces? Oh my gosh.
Empty.
That's awesome. Empty. Sorry, let me correct that. 4 pounds, 7 ounces empty.
Yeah, I picked
magazine capacity of 7 rounds. So it's single stack, or does 50? Is 50 so big that it has to double stack?
No, it's single.
No, it's single stack.
It's single stack.
Okay.
You shot one, right? You guys shot one?
No, I've
I'm
never
assuming
shot
you
one.
do.
Yeah, of course. I've shot the 357 and the 44. It's funny to me because of what it is. I felt it kicked less. You know what I mean? Than the equivalent in revolver.
Yeah, because it's got the moving parts to help soak it up.
Yeah, but for the money, you could buy some nice revolvers. The Desert Eagle is another thing to have because you can, right along with your Colt Walker, which weighs about the same thing, by the way. The Colt Walker black powder pistol, it weighs like 4 pounds and change also.
Is it that much? I knew they were heavy. I had one for a little while.
Yeah. Yeah, they're over
cool.
4 pounds. Fun to shoot also. And for like $600 you can have one. And it's not considered a pistol.
Yeah.
Which is
black
awesome
powder.
because it's black powder. But yeah. If I had a wall of awesome pistolness, a Desert Eagle would be one of them, and the other one would be a Walker.
Yeah. I handled one at the NRA show and I went, and man, that thing is just... I could barely get my hand around it. You gotta have some. You gotta be Hickok 45 to be able to hold that thing comfortably.
And at $1.30 a bullet, it's kind of
Yeah.
expensive to shoot.
Yeah. But if you're dropping $1,800 on a Desert Eagle, you might have to change to throw it to
Yeah.
feed it. We
Yeah,
actually,
the $35 box ammo is not going to do anything to you.
yeah, a friend of mine I used to work with, he taught the concealed carry classes at one of the local ranges, and he said a guy insisted on taking his concealed carry class with this Desert Eagle, because here you don't have to take it with what you plan on carrying, or it's not like California where everything you carry has to be on your license and that kind of stuff. So he just, where half the people are taking it with 22s to save some money on ammo, he's like, nah, I'll take it with the 50 Action Express, all 50 rounds of it.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I know a guy that once did a bayonet charge doing the tactical rifle class. And if you want to see it, you can go to Simon Says Train Facebook page, because I was awesome.
Yeah, so I mean it's a 6-inch barrel. MSRP is $1,931. However, Prepper Gun Shop has it for $1,599.99. So you got $1,600 there. If you've really wanted one, I guess that's really considering getting like a Nighthawk 1911 or something. Like, that's not a bad price if you're comparing it to really nice other things.
Yeah.
It's not all that expensive.
Right. No, I have heard that they kind of have some reliability issues, but I'm not entirely sure. I think it's just because the slides are so massive that if your ammo isn't perfectly dialed into what you're shooting, it can have some trouble.
Yeah. I don't imagine it's forgiving for limp wristing either.
The range I go to and host Gun for Hire, they have rental Desert Eagles. You can rent a Desert Eagle for $100. Gold Desert Eagle, of course, because if you're going to rent one, you want the gold one. They do not hold up to a high round count. They don't hold up well to a high round count, he says.
Interesting.
He constantly has to send them back off to CAR because they just beat themselves up. It's something that you look at. It's something you and your friends shoot occasionally. You clean, and you just it's a safe queen.
Yeah, they seem kind of like one of those guns that you load up a mag and share it between 3 or 4 different people and pack it back up and go home.
Did you say send it back to CAR? Did you mean Magnum Research?
Well,
it's
Magnum
from CAR.
Research from CAR. Yeah.
CAR owns
Magnum Research owns it. CAR owns Magnum Research. Yeah.
I'm seeing that now. I need to pay a little bit more attention. Yeah, that's cool.
Auto Ordnance.
Yeah.
Auto Ordnance and Magnum Research, I think, are the two.
Interesting.
Thompson as well.
Yeah, okay. I knew there was one more. And the magazines are just as expensive as for the VP9, $47 each.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Well, at least you're not taking this thing through a 2-day class, so you probably won't need more than the 1 or 2 magazines it comes with.
Well, the only thing I ever heard of doing is maybe handgun hunting with these because of the 50 cal. Because of caliber, you can handgun hunt with them. Other than that,
that 8.5-inch sight radius has got to be conducive to some sort of accuracy.
Probably.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can easily mount optics on it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, definitely. Now, one thing I think is kind of curious, I don't see the longer barrel models anymore. I know I've seen them before, but I don't see any options for that. I wonder if they're not making those anymore.
I was looking for that. Yeah, I couldn't find it either. No, because back before, they also changed the design up that you can just swap barrels out now. Swap barrels, magazines out on the same body. Before they had different frames, and then they've changed it up to make it easier to change calibers now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just changed
the
barrel on the bolt.
That was going to be my question. Can you convert this one into a different caliber if you had a 6-inch 44 Magnum barrel?
Yeah, actually, if you go to if you go down to where it says Desert Eagle Mark 19 pistols, the third option, Desert Eagle Mark 19 6-inch component system, it comes with the 58E pistol with the 6-inch barrel, the 44 Magnum barrel, and the 357 barrel, and a 357 bolt assembly, because they're different. I guess, does the 44 and the 50 maybe use the same barrel. I mean the same bolt, maybe. Because one thing that's curious about the Desert Eagle is that it almost has like an AR-15 bolt inside of it. It's kind of odd.
Yes,
It's got
it
a
does.
rotating locking bolt on the back of the slide, where normally it would just be like a flat breech face on any other kind of pistol. Well, this one has a rotating, basically AR-15 bolt. Like, that's the easiest way to explain it. And it's got that gas system that kind of runs under the dust cover to operate it and stuff. So it's kind of like a AR pistol ish. It almost seems like it's got
Well, that's
similar
also something.
operation, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's also something that knocks out some of the recoil and everything else.
The gas.
Bolt and everything else. It's awesome. Yeah.
Yep. So pretty
Very
neat.
cool.
I would like to shoot one at least one day. Maybe not ever own one, but if I had a buddy that owned one, I'd shoot the crap out of it.
Yeah, the rim is the same as a 44 Magnum.
Okay, I bet they did that on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like Desert
Very
Eagles.
cool.
I've been into them since they came out. Every boy who has a dream gun. Mine's the Freedom Arms series of pistols, the 454 Casull. I wanted that, but this was the other big, giant, ridiculous gun that I always wanted growing up.
Yeah, I know it's really iconic with movies. I bet the Guns of Hollywood podcast has talked about the Desert Eagle at least half a dozen times.
Oh yeah, they show up on tons of shows.
Yep. So next up, we got something from Mesa Tactical. If you are running a tactical shotgun and it doesn't have anything Mesa Tactical on it, I would say that you're not doing it right, because they make some awesome stuff that's really high quality. So, I mean, we all know the difference between buying, pot metal junk, that works, but, it's things strip and things just, don't handle over a period of time. Mesa Tactical really makes some awesome stuff. It's not some Chinese junk. This is like, really quality gear. So they've been making some shotgun rigs before, where they mount to the side of your receiver, whether you got a Mossberg or a Remington, and it gives you some Picatinny rail on the top. Well, they just came out with a carrier system that's a little bit more affordable. I know one thing that definitely kind of keeps people out of getting Mesa Tactical stuff is, if your component is the same price as an AR-15 handguard, between $150 and $200+, so you might not want to bolt that onto your 870 Express or your, the Mossberg you bought at the sports store. But now they've got these Sure Shell polymer shot shell carriers. So we're just going to call them the Sure Shells. But they're available, and look like they're quite a bit more affordable. So you can get the carrier itself, or you can get the carrier and the side rail as a single unit. So we're looking at prices for Remington. Just the polymer carrier itself is $36. For the Mossberg 500, $590, and Maverick 88, $41. The Mossberg 930, $48. And for the Benelli M1, M2, M3s, $48. And if you want to get the carrier with the saddle rail, so you can mount optics to the top of your receiver, for the 870, it's $98. The Benelli Supernova, $830. Benelli M4, 83 was the Benelli Supernova. For the M4, $93. And same price for the Benelli M2 Tactical, $93.
Yeah, these are pretty cool. I know whenever I was building up my tactical shotgun a couple of years ago, I had looked at the Mesa Tactical. That's definitely the one everybody recommends, is their aluminum one. But at the time, I saw that they're $80, $90, I think, just for the aluminum side saddle without the top rail and all that. And if they would have had these in polymer, I definitely would have gotten one at the time, instead of going with whatever I got, whatever the cheapo one is, the cheapo $30 ones. I think it was about $30, and this one being $36 for just the side saddle. I mean, that's it's kind of like why even the cost savings to one of the cheaper ones isn't even relevant at that point because it's barely any more expensive. You might as well go with a reputable company like Mesa.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have seen the Tacstar ones, right?
Tacstar, that's what it was.
Yeah, they're all plastic. I bought in 2 or 3 of those. They work really well. The fact that if you've got a shotgun that's a pump and the forearm overlaps the receiver when you shuck it downwards toward you, you can actually trim off some of the shell carriers to shorten it. So if you get like a six shot carrier, you can reduce it down to 4 with some fancy Dremel work, and it'll work for your shotgun. Kind of modify it a little bit.
So I did, because I had put it on a Mossberg, and it had that piece that went over the receiver about 1.5 inches. I just cut that piece off of the handguard rather than modifying the carrier.
Well, I'd rather modify the carrier that was $30 than modify the gun that was like $300. So, but I mean, yeah, either way would work. But this gives you the reason why these are so much cheaper than their all aluminum versions is because it does have that polymer. It's just injected molded glass-filled polymer secured to the receiver with a lightweight aluminum backplate with brass threaded inserts. So it has a dual rubber friction system that holds the shot shells in place. Those Tacsstars, they're just basically molded plastic, and they can wear out over time. If you're loading slugs in them and constantly loading and unloading shells, even though everything's supposed to be 12 gauge, eventually those things aren't going to be as tight and hold your shells as firmly anymore. Just the way that they're kind of a half crescent shape, they're bound to expand at some point, or also have the ability to break them if you drop your shotgun in the wrong spot. Whereas these have a dual rubber friction system that holds the shot shells in place, gives you that friction that's not going to wear nearly as much. And then also they are fully enclosed circles, so you're not going to have these half a crescent shape sticking out that are prone to wear and damage over time.
Yeah. Now one problem I found with those Tacsstars is they're kind of undersized where they hold them in place, and so once you get it's almost kind of like once you load 3 or 4 of them in there, it starts to kind of spread it out a little bit, and so when you get to the last 2 or 3 shells, they're really hard to put in there and really hard to get out when it's completely loaded. So I think this would kind of, being that it's a rigid shape and it's got that rubber retention, I guess you could say, I think that would have to mean it would probably be pretty smooth, and it's gonna be equal between all 6 of them. I would imagine.
Yeah. So I imagine this would be more for home defense. I mean, do you guys see people competing with something like this rigged onto their shotgun?
No, nothing like that on. Not during a competition at all.
At least not if they want to place well.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Yeah.
Even when I'm running shotgun clinics, I don't see a lot of these side saddles because it's kind of a weird balance thing. And for the price they used to be, I just never considered getting one. My thing was more like the thing you Velcro on the side and put shot shells in, and then when it runs empty, you just pull the Velcro off and slap another one on. With S-Tac, I think, makes something like that, because they were just so damn expensive. Mesa Tactical, and I'm like, is that because of the quality or the name? And now I'm looking at what you have, and again, I have a Winchester. It's not even covered on here, so that's out. And then I also have
that's your fault for buying a Winchester.
Oh, well, listen, I just want something with a really fast action that will smoke any other pump action out there, and a Winchester will. And plus, it was a deal. I got that and an Savage Axis for $400 total for both guns. So who wouldn't take it?
Is that something that you want to admit on the air? That sounds like a crime.
Yeah,
Tony, you have to remember you're talking to a Remington fanboy, so you can't.
Who's a Remington
fanboy?
Ryan.
Ryan.
Ryan's a fanboy of Remington and Magpul. I don't even know if he's a fanboy. I think he's a hula.
I'm basic. I'm basic.
You're
That's what
basic.
you call
Okay.
that. We can't finish that, but yeah, we'll just say that I'm a basic operator, I guess. Or
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Nothing's wrong with them. All quality stuff. I'm not the Chevy, Ford, Remington. Well, actually, Mossberg I think has better ergonomics, but whatever. Uh, um, you learn to run what you have,
Aluminum receiver.
and not look for something else.
So the Mossberg doesn't
What's the problem with
need
the receiver?
a steel receiver.
That makes no difference.
You can
No one needs
recycle
a
it
steel
when
receiver.
you're low on money.
The shell doesn't explode in the receiver, so who cares? It's in the chamber. Who cares what the receiver's made of? Your AR has an aluminum receiver.
Yeah. Well, a lot of guys, that haven't gotten into ARs, whether they live in a state where they can't or they just never really got into a modern sporting rifle, a lot of times they have a shotgun that they bought, and then, they'll get that urge to dress it up, tack it out, and this is the kind of stuff that they'll add on there. This is a lot cleaner, and I would say it looks like a higher quality than the other stuff that I've been seeing that I've tried using on other shotguns. So I guess this would be more directed toward them, where they've got one tactical long rifle, or long gun, I should say, and it happens to be their shotgun. And getting this would give you an extra 6 shells onto your pump. It looks like the strong advantage over this from the Techstar, it doesn't have as big as a aluminum backplate, which is actually the part that really kind of interferes with forearms when you're pumping them. So the fact that it's a little bit more slimline, it doesn't have a oversized backplate for mounting to the side of your receiver, it looks like it would be just better off overall. It is going to permanently add width to the profile of your gun. So if you've got like a case, a hard or soft case that you love putting it in, just always keep in mind that this is going to add a big bulge onto the side of it.
They don't have 20 gauge either, huh?
I don't see that, but yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I'd say step up to a big boy caliber, but there's a lot of people that prefer 20 over 12. So.
Well, it's also a stature thing. If you aren't, if you're a smaller, lighter weight person, it's easier just to run a 20.
Yeah.
My next purchase, because of the classes I hold, I've had some small stature people come in and have a hard time running that 12 gauge because of the length. I was thinking about getting a youth model, but then I decided, youth model 12 gauge, but I think I might go with the youth model 20 gauge. In Mossberg. That's what I want to make that move.
Yeah, I've actually heard plenty of people recommend using 20 gauges for even for people that can handle a 12 gauge. They say it's so much less recoil, and for only a marginal difference in payload. So it's like kind of like you get more for the trade-off's not as bad as it could be. So it's kind of like you get more in recoil management than you lose in payload. So I guess that's kind of a good way to explain it. I've heard it explained that way. And plus, like Tony said, it's a lot easier to handle for a smaller person because 20 gauges are significantly smaller and lighter than 12 gauges. Kind of, it doesn't seem like it because the rounds, you look at them and they're not that big of a difference for the round size, but then the guns that are made to handle them are significantly smaller.
I think somebody did the math, and it was like 66% less recoil than a 12 gauge, with only like a 20% less payload or something.
Yeah, I know Masada Yub writes about it, and maybe you could.
Yeah.
If they're interested, they could look that up and try to figure that. But I think it is Masada Yub that talks about the payload versus recoil difference.
Yeah.
The only thing is finding, 20 gauge shells, but hey, that's neither here nor there. I was just wondering, did they make 20 gauge versions of it? That's all.
Yeah. Or at least if you could replace the polymer or the polymer part or the rubber inside part to be a little bit smaller for that 20 gauge.
No, I dropped out, so I wasn't sure if y'all figured if you could, but I do see it on their. Oh, maybe that was the aluminum one. They offer it in the aluminum. Maybe they haven't gotten to 20 gauge in the polymer one yet.
Probably going to see what the market feedback is. But
yeah,
if you,
I think they'll kill it with this because I mean, $36. That's on their website, their retail. So I'm sure some of the resellers, if they have distributors, I'm sure they'll be even cheaper than that. And look, free shipping if you buy it from Mesa Tactical. Anything over $25. So you get one for $36 to your door.
There you go.
Yep. And if you're a tactical turkey hunter, you could mount an optic onto the rail on this thing and finally have an optic mounted to your shotgun as well as having an extra 6 shells. If it takes you more than 6 shells to get a turkey, then I would say hit the range a little bit more, but yeah, it'd work.
Now, one thing I have to say before we move on.
Yeah, go ahead.
She sells Sure Sells by the seashore.
Oh, jeez. You're such a nerd. All right. Well, after that pleasant intermission, next up we got a scope mount from Geisley. So we don't see very many optics mounts from Geisley these days. So this is the Super Precision Optics mount. So it's a very sweet looking one-piece scope mount, very tactical for your AR-15. It's got 4 recoil lugs. So it's got 2 machined recoil lugs into the body, so it basically would hug either side of one 1913 rail, but also the cross bolts act as the 2 additional recoil lugs. It's got lightning cuts all over the mount to cut down on weight, and it's available in anodized colors as black, desert, and purple. Why would you want it purple, is my question.
Well, guys,
a lot of people like purple.
ALG's color. Actually, ALG, which is I guess, kind of sister company to Geisley. It's Bill Geisley's wife. I think kind of her color is that kind of lavender color. So that's my bet. Is she wanted her purple.
Interesting.
Yeah, Bill Geisley. He's a real smart man. He gives his wife what she wants.
He gave her own company.
Hey, babe, why don't you go down the road? Because it's like a mile down the road from Geisley Automatics.
Yeah.
Is ALG, her company.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, babe, hey, listen, I know you like kicking around. Why don't you go down the road about a mile, and I'll give you your own company. Thanks.
Yeah, I think they have a pretty good model there because it seems like the ALG has a little better value, I guess you could say. A little more value-priced options, but they're still good quality. And anyways, I think that's my bet for the purple. Because if you go to the website, everything's got a purple option. The website's purple.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Anyways, back to the mount.
Yeah, his wife is one of those people that said, you know what? Why don't we come up with because Geisley's awesome stuff. Geisley's top of the line, everything they do. And she just said, hey, why don't we come up with a lower price and see how it works? And ALG has taken off. But this looks like a really cool mount. I wonder what Vortex scopes it goes with.
Well, that's what I'm really interested in myself. I've got the Vortex Razor HD2 1:6 with the Jerry Miculek reticle in it, and it looks like that's what's in one of these photos, and it says that at least 2 of the mount variants will match specific Vortex scopes, and it says the difference between the variants is the amount of offset, ring spacing, and sight height. So I'm guessing that one of them will be for that scope. That's one of the most popular ones that use that kind of an offset mount to begin with.
Okay. Yeah, I see a ton of Vortex. Vortex is blowing up, so I imagine there's going to be a lot of Vortex put in pretty much any scope ring just to test it out. And I like that cross lug, or is that what it's called? The locking lug?
Recoil lug.
Okay, that recoil lug that basically just straddles each side of one of the Picatinny sections. Because I mean, I'm sure we've all done it. You put a scope in there, and it kind of has a little forward to backward play because the bolts are round and they don't lock into a rectangular notch quite so perfectly. So that's a really cool feature, having that cross-cut recoil lug.
Yeah, they should all have that. Honestly, it's such a smart idea.
Yeah,
there's so many times where I'm mounting my scope and I'm actually like having to hold it in its most forward position inside those valleys so that because the recoil of the rifle is going to want that scope to come forward because it's moving backwards. So I always try to mount it that way. You don't have to sweat it with that. It looks like it's made out of 2 different grades of aluminum alloy. So the base models will be 7075 or similar aluminum, and the premium model will be made from a special 2099 alloy, which is stronger and lighter than 7075. What I'm also noticing from the picture is that the rings, the top half and the bottom half of the rings are serialized to match. So looking at this picture, the rear rings look like AF0 something 6B, and the front has an A at the end of its serial number. So it looks like they have those so precisionally cut that they've made sure that you never accidentally put the rear in the front in the rear.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's kind of like the idea of a match set of an AR-15 upper and lower receiver. You know, you want the ones that were machined at the same time to be that set.
Yep.
Sure you do. I find it funny that somehow this mount is stronger than the AR that is strapped to. Your AR receiver is 7075 aluminum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Somehow this thing has to be tougher than the receiver that it's strapped to, because the premium brand, the premium one has a different kind of aluminum or something that's lighter.
Yeah.
And what's the? Yeah, here we go. Yeah, the 2099 alloy. Whatever.
Oh, Tony.
Get over yourself. Get over yourself.
I could see 2 reasons why you would pay the premium for such precise manufacturing. Return to 0. Geisley saying that this is guaranteed to return to 0. So you could take this off your rifle for whatever reason, and then return it to your rifle, and it should keep 0 because of that such precise lockup to the top of your Picatinny rail. So that's one benefit, if that's something that you're really concerned about doing. If you do a lot of maintenance on your gun and it requires you to take the scope off to get it in your jig or vise or whatever you need to do. Also, a great thing is if I can see not these like fancy 3-gun scopes that Alex gets to play with, but if you had the models set up for some of Vortex or Night Forces, whatever your favorite flavor is, they're more long-range scopes for precision builds, because you're chasing that infinite amount of improvement. And a lot of times, if you can spend $1,500 on the rifle, you can spend $1,000 on the scope. If you spend $40 on the rings, you're gonna have a bad time. Eventually, it might work for you the great first day. That's awesome. It might work for you for a year. That's great. You could be out hunting or go to a match and drop it, or lean it on your truck and it slides off and hits the ground and it's gonna lose 0 because you cheaped out on rings. You really want something that's well built, precision built like a tank, so that it'll never become a variable in the whole accuracy equation, and that's ultimately what you're chasing. You know, your trigger pull, your rest, your load development. If you're reloading, all those things you're chasing the almighty sub MOA, ants, ass sort of accuracy. You really want a really good scope mount to go with that. So that's 2 types of people I would see would buy this thing, whatever price it comes to.
Okay. No, I mean, I totally understand it. I was just wondering the difference between the 2. But, this is definitely, the scope mount is a buy once, cry once situation.
Yep. I don't know what the MSRP is because it's not on Geisley's website yet, so I guess we'll just call it TBA.
Yep.
Yeah, they're right in Pennsylvania, so hopefully if things work out right, I can tour that place one day.
Yeah, totally. That'd be good.
Maybe you could go stop by Geisley and ALG.
Yeah, actually, no, I was looking at places to actually do tours for the Second is for Everyone. Gun place, lots of gun places in PA. We have Henry here in Jersey, manufacturers. But in PA, there's a lot of firearms manufacturers that's within an hour or 2 hours of Jersey.
Nice.
And this is one of them. So I contacted them earlier this week, but I didn't contact them about this. I was talking about something else. But I'll find out if we could have tours of them. Might be something fun to do.
Yeah, it'd be pretty neat.
So, I mean, Alex, could you see the benefit of, if you've got a low magnification scope for competition, if it's like a 1:6 or a 1:4? I mean, is it really worth to invest an extra $100, $200 in a really expensive scope mount for that kind of thing?
It definitely is. I mean, I have the 1:6. That's what I was just holding up playing with a minute ago. I've got the JM2 or the Razor HD2 with the JM reticle Vortex 1:6, and it's an incredible scope, and it's a good chunk of money. I mean, I think it retails for like $1,500 or $1,800 or something.
Okay. I mean, as far as the shots that you're taking, I guess it really depends on. Oh, sorry, you're breaking up a little bit. You there?
Yeah, I think he froze.
Okay. Alex? All right, we got a man down. We'll circle back to him when he comes back. So I guess we'll just move on to the next product, unless you guys have anything more to say on the Geisley mount.
Can you guys hear me now?
There you are. All right.
I think it was the video messing up my feed here. Sorry about that.
No problem. What were you saying?
So yeah, with 3-gun, I mean it's kind of twofold as far as the reason you would want a really high quality scope mount with shooting it in like a lot of different conditions, especially with 3-gun. We're going to shoot at stuff that's 3 yards away sometimes, but then the very next part of the course of fire could be out to 400 or 500 yards, like we shoot down at Tar Heel 3-gun on occasion and stuff like that. So having a very accurate and repeatable scope is absolutely paramount. But then at the same time, when we finish with rifle and move over to shotgun or pistol, we're literally throwing these guns into trash cans. That's exactly what you do. I mean, you chuck it in there, make sure it doesn't bounce out and disqualify you, but you chuck it in there. You can't spend time babying it and setting it in nicely. So, having something that's hanging off of the main part of that gun is going to take a lot of force on occasion, and it needs to be built like a tank. This thing looks like it is from Kyle.
Yeah, well said.
Okay. Definitely. This thing gets beat up during 3-gun from what I've seen. So, yeah, something like this would be, who knows, maybe my cheap butt will come up with something like this eventually and purchase one.
Now, it does have big old gnarly nuts on this side, which I'm not a big fan of. However, yeah, I just realized it said that. But they're like, what are they, like a quarter or 3/8 inch size fastening hardware nuts?
They're not quite UTG territory, but they stick out there, which that was one of the first things I noticed. I know Ryan's distaste for nuts, so.
I don't like big nuts, man. I like small screws.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like, I'm thinking if it's not quick release anyways, what's the point of having it protrude? Like it doesn't need to. For you to be able to get it off quickly, you're going to have it finger tight, which isn't going to be precision anyways. So you might.
All right,
you know
what? I'm checking out this whole conversation.
Well, I've got like 3 Burris peeper mounts, and they've all got a similar nut situation.
Yeah, it's like I don't see why you wouldn't just have like a cap screw with the internal hex, like an Allen wrench, because
I've over tightened it. What I was getting at is I've got a 1-inch peeper that I've actually over tightened the nuts, and now they don't tighten at all. And it's very easy to do when you're having to dig through and look for your 1/2 inch or your 5/8 inch wrench or your socket, or you're using some kind of smaller crescent wrench. But yeah, the whole return to zero thing. Well, if it's not QD, why would I be swapping it off very much anyway? But I just like saying nuts because Tony starts to giggle.
It's making your nuts finger tight, and it was killing me, man. It was really killing me.
You
My
need a break
inner
from
13-year-old
your
was
job.
giggling like you wouldn't believe.
You spent too much time in prison, my friend. It's affecting you.
Tony, your outer 13-year-old was
Yeah,
giggling like you wouldn't believe.
5 minutes is too much time in prison.
That's true. All right, so we talked about that. Let's go on to the next one, which this is really funny. The jokes are just going to keep on going. So last week we talked about the SIG Legion, and we were making fun of SIG fanboys. And I know as a fan of Ruger products, I did throw out a couple hypotheticals, like, oh, well, if Ruger made some branded stuff, I'd take a look at it. So trying to play devil's advocate and not make SIG boys start sending the hate email. Well, sure enough, this week we see that CRKT has introduced a range of Ruger-branded knives to add to the Ruger store. And I'm not talking about one knife, two knife, three knives. I mean, this is a plethora of knives that they've stamped the Ruger Eagle onto.
Yeah, it's something like 20 knives.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So they range in price from about $60 to $100, depending on what one you want. They've got some hunting-style knives that are fixed, as well as they've got some folding blades, tactical, everyday carry, and then a little bit more, I guess, traditional. But there is a lot. There's almost too many knives to talk about without having a dedicated Ruger knife episode. So why don't you guys take a look and I don't know, pick out one that you like the best, and we'll kind of talk about each one. So that'll give 4 knives or something.
I honestly wasn't particularly enamored by any of them. So, I mean, I know that's pretty pessimistic to say, but...
Wow, and that's from you.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying they're bad. I was kind of
looking
nothing hit me as particularly cool, I guess. I mean, kind of like the general theme of them, they're kind of, the folders... Honestly, all of them have that kind of black steel with that black
wash.
Black wash. Yeah, there you go. That kind of the corners are kind of worn down, I guess you could say, to where the silver kind of shows through, and then they all kind of have similar patterns and stuff. And I don't know. None of them really hit me very well.
I was really disappointed in many of them because they didn't have, for pocket knives, they didn't have pocket clips. They have nylon pouches. You know what I mean? It's like, wow,
there's
no
a couple with clips. You gotta look at
a couple,
yeah.
But I was looking. Oh, I was going through them left and right, but you'd have to get down to the $69 knives or something, or $39 knives before you found them. And the rest of them have pouches.
I think any kind of folding knife should have some kind of provision for a clip, even if it comes with it. It should have, even if it's not attached. I think it should come with some kind of clip, because I don't like just throwing things in my pocket. I prefer to have them clipped and to where they stay in the same spot. So I'm with Tony on there.
I grew up. I'm older than you guys, and yeah, it was a pocket knife. It went in your pocket. You stuck your hand in it. It rattled around. And you grab the knife. But now with the advent of the pocket clip, it makes it much more convenient to be clipped to the side of your pocket, and you can find it easily. Why give that away at this day and age?
Yeah. So are these existing CRKT designs and they've just put the Ruger brand on them, or are these all new designs?
According to them, these are all new designs. By people that design stuff for Columbia River Knife.
Okay. So, guys, just pick one to talk about. Just humor me.
I like the powder keg.
Okay.
And that's a fixed blade. They have it down as their survival knife. It's the powder keg, and I forget what the other one is named, but it's kind of like a Bowie blade. My screen just froze on my computer, so.
Okay. So it looks like it's a 4 3/4 inch plain blade. It's got a rubber overmold grip. It's got a full tang handle with a inset Ruger medallion with a leather sheath. Yeah, this definitely kind of looks of a almost survival, a little bit of bushcraft sort of knife.
Yeah, because it serves a different purpose. I wasn't impressed by a lot of their pocket knives or their EDC. I've gone to their site, Columbia River Knife, and I like the way their site is set up because each knife has a video. Their description here doesn't tell me blade steel, doesn't tell me where it's made. It's really kind of basic. I mean, it says it has a blade, you know what I mean? It's a plain blade, rubber overmold, full tang, nothing else. And they don't even have a picture of their sheath. I mean, it's just badly done for Ruger. But if you look at Ruger anyway, when you look at the description, even their firearms, it's just a bad description when you look at their specs.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple different degrees of being a knife aficionado or a knife owner. Obviously, you got the ones that are just, oh, that looks cool, or hey, I need a new knife this year, and then you got the ones like us that are kind of more, I guess, you guys might not describe yourself as a gear whore, but it's my job to know the information. If it isn't to say what steel or just metal material it's made out of, then it doesn't give me a lot of information of how that's gonna perform over time.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. And the people that are buying $60 to $100 knives are more likely to be the kind of person that would care at least a little bit what blade, what type of blade steel it is. The guy that's just kind of like, I kind of need a new knife and picks one up at the counter at the gas station. That guy is probably not going to care what the blade of his steel is. He just needed a pocket knife to open some boxes every now and then. But if somebody's willing to pay the $60 to $100, they probably care a little bit more. And to leave that kind of stuff out, I mean, it's still really new, so maybe they'll add some stuff, hopefully.
Yeah, because I'm looking at, again, the reason I looked at this knife, because I want a knife that serves a purpose. This was the only one that struck me as, all right, it looks kind of cool.
Which one did you go with, Tony?
If you look at the hand grip, the powder keg.
Which one is that? What's it look like?
It's a fixed blade, small fixed blade knife, survival knife type. It's about the middle of the page.
Okay.
It has handles on it that look as if they might be removable, and it has two holes in the back of the blade that looks like it's for, you can tie paracord in it or something. It's like, is this able to be used as a spear? Does this tie to something? I mean, like, you just leave nothing really being said in the description, and it kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have all of these disclaimers on the page that's way more than the description.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, now,
go ahead.
I guess, I said I wasn't really too impressed by any of them, but that, I don't even know the name of it. The one with like the kind of paracord wrap. I mean, that one.
The cordite comfort. Yeah.
I mean, it's that's neat design. It looks cool for at the very least, it looks cool, and it's got like that paracord wrapping. It's got kind of like a tuning fork almost as a handle, to where it's got two. It's not solid in the middle. It's got like a loop almost for handle, and then it's got there you go, and then it's wrapped with paracord.
Yeah, they have the same exact. They have the same knife on. Oh,
what's that, Tony?
They have the same knife on Ruger's on Columbia River Knife and whatever. Mm-hmm. They have the same knife, different blade design.
Okay.
And for again, this is like what 20% add-on because it just has the Ruger emblem on it. I mean, really, I don't. It
has a revolver cylinder style bead that holds, I mean, you got a knot in the end of your 550 cord, but it's got a little miniature revolver cylinder.
Okay. That's kind of neat. I thought it was a Surefire tail cap at first, because that's kind of what it looks like, being black, and I didn't see the little hand notches.
It's very, very kitschy. I mean, unless that was storage for something like fire starter or some short stubby matches. Like it's really just aesthetics, not really functional.
Yeah, you can't store your char cloth in there.
No, you cannot.
What's char cloth?
You missed last episode, didn't you?
We got chastised for not describing what char cloth was when we talked on the survival episode when someone picked a fire piston. So TJ actually went ahead and on the following episode really described the process of making char cloth better to clarify that omission.
Yeah.
Got it.
And I even made some. Took like 10 minutes.
Char cloth, so hot this year.
It's the new hotness.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that the powder keg is $99.95 MSRP. The cordite is $59.95. If I was to, they even got a CRKT Ruger branded tomahawk, the wood hawk. So I'll go ahead and talk about that. It's cool. I mean, if your Halloween costume is like the Patriot, Mel Gibson, what is that, William Wallace, you need this tomahawk.
William Wallace.
Yeah, it's the RKT Woodhawk. It's a $64.95. It's got a wood handle. It's designed by Ryan Johnson of RMJ Tactical. So it's a tomahawk evolved from the original Chogan Tactical tomahawk design. So it's a solid chunk of 1055 carbon steel that is hot forged into a rock solid head. Has a hammer finish. It looks like it has a hammer on the back end of it as well. I don't know what you would call that design of the hammerhead, but you could use it to pound in nails or tent stakes if you're camping. It's got primary and secondary edge bevels that are flat ground to cut through timber like a beaver. I don't think beavers cut through timber that well. That's not a good description. The overall length is 19.13 inches. The weight is 2 pounds and 1.4 ounces. Blade length itself is 4.21. The blade thickness is just over half an inch. It looks like a nice tomahawk. I'm sure you can get nice ones for cheaper, but this one has, it looks like both the CRKT and the Ruger logo is almost like laser etched into the head. I like tomahawks. I don't own any because they're kind of ridiculous if you're not using them. But yeah, that's my example. So, Alex, is there any of those knives look good to you?
I think I'm with PJ on this one.
Actually, I didn't realize it was a second page, so I'm going to have to change my pick to the CRKT Nathan's Wood Knife Kit. I don't know why. Would. I do not know why, but I like wooden knives. I have a thing, I'm just like, they're really cool, just like a wooden folding knife. Even though you can't use it, it's kind of cool to have. And I want one of these.
If you have some black paint to paint the wooden blade, you could sneak this onto an airplane and nobody would know that it's made out of wood, right?
Possibly. Probably not.
Yeah.
Am I on some kind of list now for mentioning that?
Yeah, you're already on a list.
Yeah.
You don't silencers. But anyways, so this is pretty cool. One I guess kind of thing. They're almost like a learning opportunity because most of the time people just own knives. They don't think to find out exactly how they work. Well, this one you buy a kit and it comes in pieces. You got your blade, your 2 scales, and your locking mechanism, and 4 or 5 pins, and you assemble it yourself. So I could see this as being like I'm thinking it'd be a really good deal for Boy Scouts. You buy a few of these and have them put together and kind of learn how a knife works without having to worry about a bunch of hyperactive kids stabbing each other with real knives.
What fun is that? See, now I have a tomahawk, but it's a trainer. Pretty cool from Cold Steel. This was fun to take classes with.
It's a rubber?
Yeah, it's hardened rubber, PB or whatever.
Cool.
Is that so? It's New Jersey legal?
Oh, see, look, you're funny. I will take a road trip just to slap you. You don't say nice. You didn't win the competition show. I don't even understand why we accept this. I mean, he didn't show up and he lost. But
second place.
First loser is what that is.
Second place. Yep, that means first loser.
You guys are rough. Well, hey, now another plus side to this wooden knife kit, as opposed to the other ones, it actually tells you what the blade's made of. It's beechwood.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's amazing. The two that actually have a description of the blade are the wooden knife and the tomahawk. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yep. So if you want to check that out, we got the link in the show notes to the Firearm blog article, as well as a link to Ruger's online shop, shopruger.com, and their knife page. They've got a lot of different knives we didn't mention that might be up your alley. Christmas is coming right around the corner. If your husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend or family member or loved one is a fan of Ruger, I mean, this might just make a good stocking stuffer for them. Not set you back too far. So just.
They also have the classic M16 knife from CRKT. That's kind of one of their more popular ones, but looks like it's even got some wooden scales to it. So it's a little unique. I don't think you can normally buy the M16s with wooden scales. So that's pretty neat.
You sure it's wood?
What's that at?
Or just the finish?
Honestly, I cannot tell, but it looks wood. You can't zoom on any of these pictures, so let me read the.
What's it called?
That is the M16 Spirit Point, M16-13ZM Spirit Point knife. It's on it's on the third page.
Okay.
Third page.
I don't know, like you guys said, it's got all these. Oh, never mind. It says desert camo, but it definitely looks wooden.
Nope, glass-filled nylon scales.
That's weird. Maybe they got the wrong picture. I don't know. Am I mistaken in thinking that it really looks like wood?
Yeah, it looks like wood to me.
Mm-hmm.
That must be the wrong pictures.
Yeah, this is just the M16. Where's the... Oh,
it doesn't have a Ruger.
What does it say Ruger on it?
Yeah, it doesn't say Ruger on this picture, so I'm thinking maybe they just put the wrong picture up there.
Okay.
Okay, never mind.
Yep. Well, cool. Yeah, check that out.
Well, I like that one the best.
The non-Ruger.
Yeah.
All right.
So I didn't have a review. Did any of you guys have a review this week?
I did, but it's quite long, and we've kind of rambled a good bit, so I think I'm going to save it for another time.
Okay.
I do want to say, though, my review is of the Lone Wolf Timberwolf compact frame, and this is kind of time-sensitive. If you go to Lone Wolf right now, you can get the compact or the full-size frames with their ultimate adjustable trigger, which Ryan and Chad's done a review for us a couple months ago on that, and you can get that for $235, which the normal price of the frame is $200. So you're getting that and the fully assembled frame, the bare frame with no internal parts, is $200, and so basically for $35 you're getting all the internal parts and a $50 trigger. So that's a really good deal. If hopefully that deal is still going on whenever you hear this.
Yeah, do it. If you want to breathe some new life into your Glock 19, swap the frame out for this compact frame, and it'll be like a whole new world. You're not going to be holding onto a brick anymore. You'll be holding onto an ergonomic frame with some interchangeable back straps, good grips. Their trigger guards are a little bit big for my taste, but I mean, if you're shooting with gloved hands, it's big and round, and it's quite generous on the inside, but you've still got enough room on the full spec rail for your lights and lasers and stuff.
Yeah, I think they're the same as Glocks, though, huh?
I think Glocks are a little bit more angled. It's got that kind of rounded but kind of pointed edge at the bottom of the trigger guard.
Yeah, but I mean the interior of the trigger
internal,
guard's about the
yeah.
same. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
anyways,
just-
I wanted to review it, but like I said, it's pretty lengthy review, so I'm gonna save it
Yeah.
for next time. And but I did want everybody to be aware of that, because $235 for the built frame is insane, especially with that UAT, that ultimate adjustable trigger. That's just a crazy. You're saving $170. So if you wanted one, now would definitely be the time to do it. And I talked to the marketing manager over there, and he said they have no timeline. It one day, it doesn't end a specific day. One day they're just gonna change it. So if you want it, get it now.
Nice. So yeah, onto the Tech Edger app. We've got another product from MeproLite. I swear we just talked about some kind of holographic sight laser combo. Well, they've got something else that they just recently released. This is the True Dot RDS. So that'd be the red dot sight. Its MSRP is for $400, and it is a 1.8 MOA red dot. It runs on a single AA battery, giving you thousands of operating hours, and it looks like a reversed EOTech. If you're not familiar with what some of the, I guess, more Euro-Asian red dot sights look like. I know EOTech's actually from that kind of area, but it's the body of the sight is actually facing you as opposed to facing away, if you're familiar with EOTechs. So it's a nice alternative. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't know if you mentioned the price, but it's $399, and usually when I see MeproLites, they tend to be rather up there in the price range, and I think to be $399, if I'm remembering properly, but I think I've seen some of their sites and some of their scopes have been rather expensive, and I think they actually aren't they the OEM for the Israeli
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, they are. And everything they make is expensive.
Yeah, so really just
expensive.
having it for $400 compared to some of their more expensive ones has got to be worth something. And because I mean, if assuming it stands up and works as well as some of the other ones, it's less than an aim point, less than a Trigicon, and I'm not sure about EOTech. There's a price range. I'm sure Ryan would know more about the price.
$400 is bottom dollar for a used like EOTech 512.
Okay.
So I mean, you can get an EOTech that runs on a AA. It's not one of the more desirable ones that run on like CR2s or CR123s.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's definitely competing well in the market from a company that's putting out something so it's usually so much more expensive. Hopefully the quality, whatever corners or manufacturing processes that they had to condense down in order to crank out something that's such a low price doesn't affect the quality, that it's still, hopefully military grade as far as, same with all their products. If it's good enough to take into battle on top of your Tavor, then it should be good to go.
Yeah. Now,
I found it for $333 on Amazon.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
It's kind of, I think it's kind of curious. They put red dot size as 1.8 MOA. I don't think I've ever seen anybody put it down to a tenth like that. But obviously it's just a red dot, so the magnification is 1, so no magnification. The kind of another kind of interesting feature is a lot of like the aim points. They're kind of advertised as you just turn it on and it's good for at somewhere the medium brightness is good for 3 to 5 years if I remember right. And EOTechs, I'm not sure quite what their battery life is. Would you be able to talk to that, Ryan?
Say that again.
What's the EOTech kind of battery life?
I don't know off the top of my head, but usually it depends on what battery you get, with what model. Obviously, I haven't really seen anything that uses AA batteries that boasts thousands of operating hours. I don't I don't want like a round number like that. I kind of want to know exactly how many thousands of operating hours.
Yeah, that's kind of my deal too. Is whenever you tell me how many hours it runs, I want to know what level. Because they could have it on the night vision mode where you can't even see it with the naked eye, and it runs for 15 years on the same battery. But
Right.
you turn it on, anything with any kind of usable brightness. What kind of different? But it does have 4 brightness settings, which is a little less than most, because usually they have at least 6 to 8. But honestly, I don't think you need a huge range.
Right.
And
So,
one of the,
and then,
I suppose one of those is night vision, which is basically just it's so dim you can't see it with your naked eye, but you put night vision on and you can see that dot glowing, and it keeps it from washing out with a super bright setting.
It does look to be fully sealed, so that means that it should be purged, and good for waterproof and fogproof. All they say for the mounting system is that it's weapon mount integral Picatinny. I'm looking at this thing and I'm seeing what looks like QD latches, and that they need to put on their website, because that's a huge selling point, especially for the U.S. market. Is everyone likes QD over
Right.
permanent or something that's more permanent, like mounting to Picatinny rail using giant nuts or giant bolts. So having dual QDs and having a good lockup and having a good return to zero, those are things to boast about on your website versus just it mounts to Picatinny. Meh,
Yeah. I think that is kind of one of the limitations of being a foreign company and having their website kind of multinational, I guess you could say, that stuff tends to get lost in the translation.
sort of. Yeah.
But back to the battery life, though, they have an energy saving system, auto shut off, auto power resume. Now they don't really go into what that means, but I know some optics have like a accelerometer or something like that, to where whenever you pick it up, it reads the movement of the rifle, kind of like like if you pick up your phone and the screen automatically lights up. It's kind of similar on there. So I'm wondering if maybe that's what they did, to where you turn it on, let it sit for an hour or however long the auto shut off. It doesn't tell you that either. Very, very limited information on the website.
Yeah, I've been.
But I would imagine.
Actually,
What's up?
I've been going over the reviews because I went on Amazon because I'm looking for more information like you guys are. Ran across a guy who's done a review. He said it has 15,000 hour battery life. He also says, yes, it does have a QD mount, windage elevation adjustments, and and it has a 30-minute timer on that auto off.
Okay, but does he mention the fact that it comes on after you just moving it? Because to me, that's what auto power resume kind of sounds like to me, is that you pick it up and it automatically comes back on at the last brightness you had it on. Which honestly, as long as it works reliably, that I don't see the downside to that versus a constant on, like an aim point.
The only downside, he says, is it only does it with the QD mount that's provided. With the QD mount that comes on it, it has a 1/3 co-witness. It won't have absolute co-witness.
Okay, it's good that he put that on there, because some people don't. I think EOTechs are actually set up to have the absolute co-witness. So that's a good point to make.
And he also said
if you want, go ahead.
Oh, also I found out it works with the Vortex 3X magnifier, which is like $140. So it's one of the less expensive magnifiers also.
Cool.
Yeah, I think a concern, if you want to run a red dot and a magnifier, is EOTechs have that nice flat back where the lens is kind of more to the rear of the body of the red dot, and the magnifier, how it's positioned directly behind it, is kind of conducive to a good distance between the magnifier lens and the holographic lens. But I think having this ledge, you might want to make sure that whatever, like if you got a swivel mount or a flip to the side mount for your magnifier, that it's going to clear the back body of this scope, which it should. But you might want to just double check at the store before you walk away, have it boxed up, just to make sure that if your magnifier is flipping into position or rotating into position, whichever mount you have, that it's going to clear the whole sight body.
Yeah, he said if you paired with a Vortex flip to the side magnifier, contact Vortex customer service support and ask for an extra spacer for the perfect co-witness.
There you go.
Vortex will send it for free. Vortex will send it for free, and all you have to do is go to Home Depot and buy longer bolts necessary to mount the magnifier.
Yeah. Now they do mention that I guess it's designed to work with night vision and magnifiers, and they do offer their own MX3 magnifier, and so I'm assuming it's probably designed to work with that exact magnifier, but that's a $569 MSRP. So if you're going on a budget, maybe do what Tony said instead. Go with the Vortex and get that spacer.
Yep. Right on. So yeah, I got the website for that. It's themakogroup.com, and then just look under their store and look at their optics. You'll be able to find that. So that's it for this week. Want to make sure we give Tony the opportunity to rant about how awesome his Second Is for Everyone diversity shoots are.
Oh, my Second Is for Everyone diversity shoot, which you can find on my page, Simon Says Train. Click on it because we have some really cool stuff. We're going to have some good giveaways from a lot of companies. And also, Hex Mag just broke a brother off something. So we're going to have some Hex Mags out there. And you'll be able to get a hold of some of these through either raffle or auction. I don't know how I'm going to set it up, but you're going to have some really cool stuff. Second Is for Everyone is a educational workshop, trying to get people who aren't involved in Second Amendment movement involved in the Second Amendment movement. Probably about an hour worth of speeches. We're going to have a lot of heavy hitters in the Second Amendment group coming down this time. These are people I met at the NJ Safe conference. They're going to be there. Hopefully they'll speak. Then we're going to have like 2 hours of shooting. I know we're going to have at least 2 custom gun makers coming down. I know we have one of my retired majors coming from work, and he's one of the history geeks, so he's going to bring some historic firearms, some really cool. Last time he was here with a 32 long revolver, nickel-plated, pearl-handled revolver from turn of the century. So it's going to be a lot of cool guns there. We have UTOSs there. We're going to have custom-built ARs. I posted a photo of one of them on Simon Says Train on Instagram. It's pretty cool stuff. My whole thing is get involved. If you have somebody at work that's slightly interested, take them to the range. Once you get them shooting something like a 22 or maybe shotgun with birdshot shooting clays. Get them involved, because once they get bitten by this gun bug, they're going to want to fight for their rights to keep being able to do this. So my suggestion to anybody out there, take somebody who hasn't been to the range before, take them to the range. Our whole thing now, especially with the new elections coming up, not only next month, but next year, is we need to start recruiting as gun owners. We need to start getting more people involved in this sport. We need to stop bickering among each other and get together, get people to the range, get them signed up in Second Amendment groups, get them signed up in Second Amendment state groups, local groups, and if you want, fine, have them sign up for the NRA. I'm an NRA recruiter, but if you don't like the NRA, there are plenty of other groups out there. Get involved. Start writing letters. Become an active member. Become a fighter, because we're going to have to fight to maintain our Second Amendment rights, no matter who's going to be president, because they're going to keep coming after us no matter what. So, again, the Second Is for Everyone diversity shoot held at Gun for Hire Range in Woodland Park, New Jersey. Contact me on my Facebook page. Let me know if you're coming. If you can't come, that's cool. Invite somebody to the range that day anyway, and join us in spirit. All right, thanks, guys, for allowing me the time to rant about the Second Amendment, but I think it's really important that we participate as gun owners.
Hallelujah. Well said, man.
Thank you.
Well, send questions or comments to myself, cross at firearmsradio.tv or podcast at firearmsinsider.tv. Remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review. Check out all the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.tv/iTunes, and be sure to visit the Firearms Insider website, firearmsinsider.tv, for reviews and industry coverage. So thank you guys, my crew, for coming on today and giving me your expert opinions and analysis on these products.
Expert in air quotes.
Expert.
Yep. I actually wanted to touch on something too while I'm here. We got an email from Safeguard Armor a couple weeks ago, and they had seen a review that I think Steve Remy did forever ago, and the website was just a newborn on some soft armor that he had been wearing, and they decided to send Ryan Machad over at Handgun Radio. He's going to get a ballistic 3A ballistic panel, and he's just going to shoot the mess out of it and see what it can actually handle and what maybe what it can do past what its stated performance is, and just put it through some different tests. So keep an eye out on Handgun Radio, as well as it'll be cross-posted to Firearms Insider as well. So it'll be on our website. Won't be on the podcast because Ryan's work schedule, but it'll be on his podcast assuredly, and we'll have a written article with a video and all that stuff once that goes up. So just keep an eye out for that. I'm pretty interested to see how that soft armor performs.
Is he gonna wear it when he shoots it?
No. I asked him if he was gonna get a friend of his to volunteer to just to see how bad it would hurt with maybe a 44 Magnum right to the chest with the soft armor, but he said he doesn't think he knows anybody dumb enough to try that out.
Need a bigger circle of friends. I know a bunch of people dumb enough to try that.
Yep. Well, yeah, thanks for coming, you guys. Everyone have a good week. Shoot safe. If you're hunting, good luck. I just got a text and there was a buck in the front yard, but I think it's a little too dark for me to go check them out, so I'm going to leave them alone, and hopefully I have some good luck tomorrow.
Nice.
Everyone shoot safe and have a good week.
Yep, see everybody later. Good luck, Ryan.
Later,
See you guys next week.
Yep.